All right, I will call the Thursday, November 20th, regular meeting of the Kodiak Island Borough Assembly to order. We will begin with our invocation from Captain Diane Shadow of the Salvation Army.
Let's pray. Dear God, as we gather here at the Borough, we come into this season of Thanksgiving with gratitude for all you have done for us as a community here in Kodiak. Open our eyes to the needs around us and open our hearts to your quiet leading. Bless Kodiak with peace. May every decision tonight be made with wisdom and kindness, knowing everything we do will affect our community. Guide our steps today and always. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, in liberty and justice for all.
We are gathered on the traditional homeland of the Sukpiaq-Alutiiq people, and we acknowledge the 10 tribes of the Kodiak-Alutiiq region. We recognize the Alutiiq culture that enriches our community to this day. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ames.
Here.
Mr. Gardner.
Here.
Mr. Johnson. Ms. Roberts.
Here.
Mr. Smiley.
Here.
Mr. Whiteside.
Here.
Mr. Woods.
Here.
Mayor Griffin.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right. Next, approval of the agenda and the consent agenda, which includes the regular meeting minutes of November 6, 2025.
Move to approve the agenda and consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Voice vote on the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Next, citizens' comments. There are 2 designated citizens' comments periods, one at the beginning and at the end of the meeting. These comment periods are intended for general comments as well as for agenda items that are not part of a public hearing. We have 1 public hearing item for tonight, which is for ordinance number FY 2026-12. Comments for this item will be heard when the item is called during public hearing. And please wait until we get to that portion of the agenda. For those who wish to call in now, the local number is 907-486-3231. The toll-free number is 1-855-492-9202. And please turn off your radio or any listening device to prevent feedback. For those in the room who wish to speak under citizens' comments, please come to the podium and sign in. Turn on the microphone and make sure the green light is on before speaking, and please speak directly into the mic and state your name for the record. Please address all comments, all remarks to the assembly as a body and not to any member thereof.
Hello. We are Captain Diane Shadow and Captain David Shadow, and we're the fairly new officers at the Salvation Army. We've been there for about 4 months now, and the month of November is when we begin our bell ringing season, and I'm sure all of you are familiar with that, and I'm sure the listeners are familiar with that. So it started on November 15th. We've had some volunteers coming out to bell ring for us, but this is the time when we need volunteers for bell ringing. It's our only time where we have our biggest fundraiser. This is our biggest fundraiser. It helps us so that we can stay alive all year, helping with the needs of Kodiak. And so everything that we do all year round has a lot to do with the community support and donations that we get at the bell ringing season. And it's a really great time because we really see Kodiak coming together, and they all love to have fun and bring the Christmas spirit to the community. And it's a really great time. So this year you are able to sign up for bell ringing online, in our database, but you just go to www.registertoring.com, right? Okay. And so just go to registertoring.com. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your computer at home, and it's very easy to do. You can sign up all year, or you can sign up just for a 2-hour shift. All our shifts are 2 hours, but there's people who like to take the whole day and see how much they can raise for the Salvation Army. We do have people like that. We look for groups, agencies, if you want to compete against your buddies or, teams in your agencies, you can do that. But we get the whole community together and they all like to come out. So we'd love to have you. You can sign up as an individual or you can sign up as a group. And that link again is registertoring.com.
We will also mention that we collect toys to pass out to kids that need it at Christmas. And we have a angel tree at Walmart. I know that Borough and city employees are helping us, so we thank them. We have a couple of other angel trees out there. So this is our busiest time of the year, and we really appreciate all the support that we get from the community. So thank you.
And I just want to say, for the people who need angel tree assistance, that's toy.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
You can finish.
That's toys and food. If you do know somebody in need, that is the best thing about this year is you could do that in the privacy of your own home and apply online as well. So that is at saangeltree.org. So just go to saangeltree.org and sign up or pass the link on to somebody that you know, some family that you know that might be in need. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe we should challenge the city council.
I like that.
We have seen that in other appointments, like when we were in New Mexico, California. We'd love to see it here.
Thank you. Do we have any calls in the queue? And I think we have one message that a citizen asked to be read into the record. Nova.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Assembly. This email came from Ms. Brenda Schwantes, and it was emailed at 4:53 p.m. It says, "Good afternoon. Please enter my comments for the record for tonight's meeting. When I call into the Assembly meetings for public comment, I rarely am able to get through to make comments. For example, if Mayor Griffin says, 'Are there any public comments on the phones?' By the time I call and get through the phone system, I'll hear the mayor say, 'Hearing that there are no calls, let's move on.' I have tried to call in many times during the correct time frame and have not been able to make it through the phone system, even though the phone system says you are the caller number one. Suggestion, please allow more time for callers to call in to get connected for public comments. Number 2, when Gary Stevens and Luis Toots and lobbyists attended the recent KIB meeting, our representatives strongly suggested a unified island-wide capital improvement project list. Stevens and Stoots both reported a single CIP list for the island-wide would improve funding opportunities. Is there anything scheduled for a joint meeting with the City Council to develop a single unified CIP list? Number 3, Mill Bay Stairs and Table bid. I would hope that the Assembly members looked at the $100,000 price tag for stairs and 2 picnic tables to be a hard no. That money could be used for better projects. Suggestion, the current location for the stairs is very, very steep. A smooth path from the parking lot to the beach at a gradual slope would reduce liability for the borough and be a lot more friendly for the elderly and everyone in general. Number 4, housing property taxes. The only way to address the housing needs and increase revenue is to sell land. There are some hard choices coming in the near future. What will the Assembly do to mitigate the KIBSD budget and balance the needs of property owners? Thank you, Brenda Schwantes.
Thank you, Nova. And we have a call now?
You are now answering a call from the queue.
Assembly meeting, you're on the air. Please state your name for the record.
Patrick O'Donnell, can you hear me, first of all?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, Patty.
Okay, I just like to talk, and I'm not sure if this is the right time, about the Pacific Cod disaster money, and I know there's other funds there for other disasters and what have you. And I'm a little frustrated in the article in yesterday's paper that it's gone into Fisheries Economic Development Fund. As far as I believe, the hold on a second. The funds were to offset the downfall in the cod fisheries in that particular given year, and to offset the negative impacts to the fisheries severance tax the Borough collects. We do have programs in place for safety training and everything else that's going to be covered based on Alaska Marine Education Association and what have you. And so I'm just trying to wrap my head around why this approach would be taken and why the Borough Assembly applied for funding and didn't leave it out there for the fishermen to collect, rather than setting something new up other than the intention of the funds, which was to offset the loss due to the lack of a cod season in 2020. And that's all I have on that. Thanks.
Thank you, Patty. Anyone else? Okay. All right, we're moving on from citizen comments. We don't have any awards or presentations tonight, so we'll open it up for the Assembly. Are there any committee reports? Caroline.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to share a brief update from the Kodiak College Advisory Council meeting. The Student Government Association recently launched a food assistance program for their students. It's already supported 11 students directly with food, baby supplies, and household goods, about $2,200 in assistance so far. The college held its college and career fair on October 11th with an estimated 200 attendees. It was a great success, and they plan to do it again next year. It brought a lot of people from out of state to the college, so that was a great opportunity for students. Additionally, Title III funding is essentially ending, so some programs currently supported by that grant may not continue going forward. The director also shared that the college is hopeful to work with the advisory council to explore ways to engage the community and local businesses in supporting the possibility of bringing a trades building to the campus through fundraising. This could help really strengthen our local workforce pathways, and I'll keep the Assembly updated as discussions continue.
Thank you. Anyone else? Scott.
We had a meeting of the Health Facilities Advisory Board, and I think there's a lot of discussion about the previous contract with Providence and how we need to change that. Essentially, the rents that we derive from Providence pay for upgrades and materials and things that are R&R issues for the hospital, but the cost of those items has become prohibitively high, and the amount that we get in rent is nowhere near enough to cover those costs, and we're running out of money, so we have to do something new. And we're in discussions to try to deal with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Bo.
Thank you. Yesterday, the Solid Waste Contract Committee met. It was a productive meeting, largely to discuss potential code revisions. So for those new to the Assembly, we had a draft code revision come before us some months ago. We did not adopt it, but this is another, or revisiting this potential amendment to the code. Credit to Patricia and Cody. They put a lot of time and effort into this draft revision, and so what their goal is to separate out contractual language from code to reduce the amount of language in the code to make it streamlined as far as our responsibilities as the borough, and then anything specific to the contract gets removed out and is in that contractual language. So I think they did a fantastic job. We're currently passing it around via email for a few more minor revisions, but everyone can expect that in their email inbox within the coming 2 to 3 weeks for you to take a look at. The tentative work session for December 16th is when that will likely get introduced. So I encourage the assembly to review that well ahead of time. It's a pretty lengthy document, but again, Patricia did a fantastic job of making it very intuitive to follow, similar to the clerks recently where language that's struck out is in red text and struck through, and then new text is in blue, so very easy to follow. Much shorter if we adopt this. It's going to be very intuitive. I think they did a great job. I'm certainly going to support that ordinance. The next meeting will be January 7th at 3 p.m. in the downstairs conference room. That will be the initial discussion for the request for proposals for the next contract in 2027. And a reminder that if this ordinance is adopted to amend the solid waste specific code, that will not take place until the next contract begins. So the collective we are just getting ahead of that and making sure we have plenty of time for discussion and public input. But fantastic job, Patricia and Cody.
All right, thank you. Jeremiah.
Solid Waste Advisory Board met yesterday as well. There was not a quorum, so not a lot got done. There were some illnesses that were preventing people from attending. We did have an informal discussion. They kind of brought me up to speed on what they're doing. I left that meeting a lot more enlightened and educated than I arrived. The one thing that we did talk about was the existing board, which is kind of having a big changeover at the moment, expressed the need to have some sort of liaison between Solid Waste Advisory Board and Solid Waste Contract Committee. I guess the existing members of SWAB feel like they're not really advising anyone. They're just doing what they can. So that's pretty much all that got done there yesterday.
Great, thanks. Anyone else? Wow, a lot of committees this week. And I have one from Swampsea. Swampsea met, the board, we met this morning, and we're moving forward on 3 pretty big things that will impact us here in Kodiak. We are moving forward on updating the economic geography study. The study that we have now is dated to 2015, so we figure 10 years, it's time for a new one. So we are contracting with Northern Economics. They submitted a pretty detailed proposal that focuses on producing updated data. And this is a report that it's all just data. There's very little narrative. There's no policy suggestions. It's like, here's a dump of numbers and statistics and trends. So it's a highly kind of technical report covering the years 2015 through 2024. It will evaluate regional demographics, income, GDP, migration, fisheries data, maritime traffic, the ferry system passenger and freight flows, interregional trade using an impact analysis software, and which is a really cool software that we learned about. We can basically learn how dependent we are on imports, where areas in Southwest Alaska send our seafood, send our fuel, send freight, the labor flows, in our region and between other regions. We'll get a really good idea of what industries in Kodiak have the strongest multiplier effects. And then see how our region's economy compares to other regions in Alaska. So they use the metaphor of connective tissue. It's going to give us a picture of the connective tissue behind all the economic numbers. So not showing just how much our region produces, but how the rest of the state depends on what we produce here. And I think that'll be really valuable information for us. That full report, they said, they're hoping to get it in by March before the Swampsea annual meeting, but it looks like it'll be in April. The second thing is Swampsea is working with the University of Alaska to identify some naming recognitions of Senator Gary Stevens and Senator Lyman Hoffman. And so we're looking at maybe possibly something at Kodiak College. But if any of you have other ideas of some other kind of recognition, if you so feel, yeah, let me know, and I'll certainly pass them on. And then we decided on the theme for our economic summit in March next year: currents of change, waves of opportunity. Yeah, I like it. I liked it. So, so if you can't make it to AML, think about your schedule and see if you can make it in that first week of March. Up there. It's a good time, and they have Fish Friday. Friday is all about fish and all about eating fish, so that's a good time too. All right, so that's my committee report. Let's move on to the public hearing. Ordinance number FY 2026-12, amending Title II Administration and Personnel, Chapter 2.125 Architectural Engineering Review Board, Section 2.125.030, Qualifications. Bo.
Move to adopt ordinance number FY 2026-12.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, so I will open up the public hearing for this ordinance. Again, if you want to call in and make comments on this ordinance, the phone numbers are 907-486-3231 or toll-free 1-855-492-9202. And if there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak on the ordinance, same thing, come up, sign your name, state your name for the record, turn on the microphone, and address all remarks to the assembly as a body and not to any member thereof. So we'll wait a minute or so for callers or for anyone in the audience. Okay, so seeing no callers, I will close the public hearing and toss it over to Manager Williams for a staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Architectural Engineering Review Board meetings are regularly attended by the borough's Engineering and Facilities Director and the Project Manager. To ensure consistent participation and enhance the effectiveness of project discussions, it is recommended that these positions be formally designated as ex officio members of the board. This recognition would allow them to actively contribute their technical expertise and insights during the review and deliberation of projects presented to the ARB.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, we will take a roll call vote on the motion.
Mr. Ames.
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Smiley.
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside.
Yes.
Mr. Woods.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
All right, thanks. Moving on, next, Borough Manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I worked with both our current and future lawyers on a pass down for the new firm. Scott Brent Erickson has reviewed the professional services agreement that the Assembly will be reviewing tonight. Additionally, Scott Brent Erickson has agreed to continue to represent KAB as the attorney of record on the current litigation that he is covering now. Both the city and borough mayors and managers attended a lunch at Kodiak College on Tuesday to meet University of Alaska Interim Chancellor Cheryl Seamers. Thank you to Kodiak College for not only hosting us and feeding us, but we walked away with Kodiak College swag too, which was fun. We were able to interview 2 people for E&F director last week, and we made an offer yesterday, waiting for a response. I'm trying to be patient, but I did text earlier this afternoon, and I've heard that they're going to say yes, but I will wait until tomorrow to believe it. The projects team and I met with Olivera Wilson, who is the CEO/president over at KCHC, her architect team, and representatives from Providence about KCHC's desire to expand their clinic. Providence is going to go over the information that they provided, as in KCHC provided, and let us know that if they're able to support the expansion or if they have reservations about the proposed changes. Discussions were varied, but we talked about egress, use of the hospital's elevator or not, handicap access, seismic issues, stability of the structure. Can we build on top of this structure? The architects they're using are the architects for the original structure, so it was neat to hear the history of how we got to where we are. If you remember, KCHC has a just under $8 million grant that they have to have obligated by summer of 2026, and so they are on a pretty strict timeline, so they're looking for answers. So Providence has asked, or has told them that they would get an answer mid-December, and then it will come to the assembly if we want to explore expanding the facility that we own. One of the main issues I brought up around that is the fact that KCHC does not pay any significant amount of money, so maintenance is on us out of the R&R fund that Providence is paying in, and we would be adding to that. So it would be more space without maintenance money. So that's something that the borough has to consider as well. Our kickoff meeting for our short-term rental software is tomorrow morning at 10:30. We have members from the borough and the city attending that. Chief Ellis called a meeting of KIB stakeholders to go over future communication needs and introduced what he thought it would take for the borough to switch from analog to digital communications. This will likely be in upcoming projects for the fire department. Coast Guard is already digital, so we're kind of following their lead so we can talk to them digitally and the city as well. The projects team, Cody, Patricia, and I went to the solid waste workshop at the Invite of Canna to present about our regional solid waste management plan progress and answer questions about the Kodiak landfill. Both Cody and Patricia presented, and they did a really good job. We're currently recruiting an E&F director, an environmental specialist, landfill manager, leachate treatment plant operator at all the levels, and a general laborer and a code enforcement officer. In finance, staff is entering information in both the new and legacy tax collection systems and will continue this dual entry until at least February. This is necessary to ensure payment postings, penalty, and interest calculations and account balances are correct. Finance and IT have reviewed the property access module and are still waiting for programming items to be finished before it can go live. They are continuing to work on that. There's meetings almost daily with finance and Tyler to get that closer to the finish line. In community development, the Planning and Zoning Commission met last night and approved a variance for a front yard setback on Mission Road, a street name change in Old Harbor, and recommended approval to the Assembly regarding a code amendment related to short-term rental changes to definitions and related amendments to zoning compliance, permits, zoning districts, and parking requirements, all within Title 17. In information technology, IT is testing and applying new system patches and security hotfixes to KIB systems. They've also finished the deployment of a new monitoring PC system for both KFRC and the landfill, which are going to improve our ability to use on-premise video surveillance. They're also working on answers regarding the RFP for the backup project, which is putting together the justification paperwork to get the approval for winning the people who won the cybersecurity project RFP. And that'll go to the Alaska Grants Office in Juneau. And GIS is working with a company that assists both ACS and GCI regarding addressing in Kodiak to fix addressing issues. They're also working on our public mapping system. In assessing, no changes to our current year exemptions, but we are in full swing with the 2026 exemptions. Those village trips with Canna have begun. Akiak, Karluk, Old Harbor, and Uzinki have already been completed. SEMA seems to have some deal with the weather gods on getting back and forth to these villages, so glad those are going well. We also had our first in-town at the Senior Center that happened on the 19th. There's 2 more scheduled for in-town on December 19th and January 13th at the Senior Center. She's also set a call date of January 9th for Assembly members, if you're interested again, to come in and call, both senior citizens and disabled veterans. If you are interested, please let her know. Assessing is working in villages and remote areas. They still need a half day in Port Lions and a half day in Larson Bay for cleanup. And then we should talk about exemptions one more time. Business, personal, and property filing forms, as well as senior citizen and disabled veterans applications were mailed out on Friday, November 14th. I know they got there. One showed up at my house, and there has been a pretty steady flow of people coming into the borough to get registered. Assessing staff manually printed, stuffed, and posted 853 senior citizen, 136 disabled veteran, and 1,041 business, personal, property filing forms. Those are due to the borough no later than January 15th. In engineering facilities, we have holiday touch tank hours on November 24th, 25th, and 26th, and December 22nd, 23rd, 29th, and 30th. The touch tank will be open between 12 and 4 in those hours. As you heard from our Salvation Army reps, we have an angel tree that's just past the reception desk out in the main hallway. The tags are already being claimed, and there's a flyer attached to the packet tonight about that. You can see a picture in the packet tonight from the holiday food drive that was picked up today. Thank you to all those who contributed to that this year. We had our biweekly meeting with the school district maintenance team today. We were informed that the fire alarm at Port Lions School is in emergent need of a replacement. It has gone off 7 times this week, and every time it goes off, they have to empty out the school. And while the students are used to it, I'd say we were to a point where we were significantly disrupting the educational process. So I've authorized staff to move forward with emergency requests for quotes to get the panel replaced as soon as possible. We're working with the school district. They're offering to pay up to $50,000, and then we'll take care of the rest to help that project move forward. We think we have 3 companies that we know we're going to get quotes from. We have our off-road system fire marshal, Chief Ellis, reviewing the RFP just to make sure that we're not forgetting anything. He said he would have it done tonight, so tomorrow we should get the RFQ out so we can get that information back and get that fixed. The village, the tribe, the city, everyone is really excited about this. And if we do the work over Christmas, they said that those people can stay out at the school. And then we wouldn't have an extra expense for lodging while we're out there. So thank you to Port Lions for that. You heard in committee reports about the solid waste code and contract updates. Out at the landfill, maintenance staff has continued to work with Alaska Department of Fish and Game for fence repairs. I requested a meeting with DEC for help or direction on how they want to do a bear management plan. That's going to take place on December 1st. Out at the landfill, we have 71 super sacks of contaminated soil. We are getting quotes to ship that off island. That will be the cheapest way to deal with that. On page 5, all E&F, but no changes, so I won't go over that. But if you have any questions, let me know. Small projects, I just approved the school painting project for Port Lions purchase order this afternoon, so that is rolling. And then Health Facility Advisory Board is going to be January 6th at 4:15 in the conference room. Solid Waste Contract Committee will be January 7th at 3 p.m. in the conference room, and we'll be having an ARB meeting early October. Attached tonight is the Angel Tree flyer and the November Projects Office report. For the new assembly members, at the last meeting of every month, I asked the project office to give us an update on where we are on projects. So this will be your first one, but we see that at the end of every month. That's something that we revived from years ago just to make sure that everyone understood where we were as far as projects. And that's all I have tonight, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Amy. Are there any questions for the manager? Please make sure your questions are pertinent to the items that were presented in the report. Bo.
Thanks. To the mayor, madam manager, would you mind just a brief explanation of what Rentalscape is for those that are new to the assembly?
Absolutely. So Rentalscape is a software through a company called Descartes Technologies, and they are able to put a kind of a fence around the Kodiak Island Borough and another one inside for city limits, and we are going to be able to track all of the short-term rentals, and they monitor 10,000 sites. So we'll be able to tell how many we have on a daily basis if you want to know how much they're charging, how many nights they've been filled. It's going to help us track, so our goal is to find out what that impact is to our housing market, but it'll also help us find out how much we should be collecting in accommodations tax. And so we are splitting the cost of that with the city of Kodiak. It's just under $7,000 a year, so each municipality would pay about $3,500. They do offer more modules. They will collect the tax for us. They will run a licensing program for us. But because the city of Kodiak already has a licensing program for business licenses inside of the city, we'd be duplicating that effort. So we're starting with the first module. We signed a 3-year contract. but we can change it or upgrade it at any time. So if we want to do more of those options, they will happily take our money, I'm sure. But to start out, what will happen is we will give them a list of everyone that we know. They will get a list of everyone that they can find, and we'll send out compliance letters. They do it. It comes from them. We just send them our letterhead, and we approve the template, so they're not saying anything offensive or anything. But just to let them know that we are tracking now, and we will be comparing that information from that website to the number that people turn in when they're paying their accommodations tax. So it'll be a useful tool. We have unlimited logins, so I'm going to have community development be in charge of the system, but assessing can absolutely access it for business, personal property, or whatever they need. And the city can have unlimited login. So once they collect the information, they don't care how many times you access it. So we just send them the email address of people who want to access, and then we get to access. Sorry, you said short overview, and that probably wasn't it.
Thank you.
Scott?
Other municipalities sometimes have permits for short-term rentals, and they limit the number of those permits in order to keep the number of short-term rentals down a little. Is there a possibility of negotiating with the city for them to give up the business license part, and we can do something of that sort?
Anything is possible, Mr. Smiley. Because we're not aware of how that software works, I just worked with the manager and the finance director from the city on this. They weren't ready to give that up yet. That system is not it hasn't been around that long, and they've just gotten people used to signing in. Mm-hmm. And so they're not ready to give that up yet. It would be weird for them to say all businesses except for, this business and this business has to do that. So we can work with that. Even if we don't do the permitting, we could still have them collect tax. I mean, there are options that we could do. As far as putting a limit on, that is going to be a joint work session conversation, I think.
That's what I was hoping for,
yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, Amy. Oop, there we go. Just a couple of things. Yes, I met with the interim chancellor and the interim vice chancellor of student affairs or student services. It's a long title. And yes, I got to talk to them about how diverse our economy is here, our need for small business development help. And they talked about adding more four-year degrees to community campuses, and Kodiak College is going to be starting on a psychology one, focusing on mental health. So people here will be able to get that relevant degree here, which is on island, which is really cool. Let's see. I talked about Swampsea. Amy and I talked about that. We will probably schedule an executive session in the coming months, maybe January, to get new members caught up with the Alutiiq Heritage Foundation lawsuit and some of the other litigation items. And then I will be leaving. I will be going to AML from the evening of the 8th to the 12th in December, and then turning right around and going on a vacation with the fam. So it will be Assemblymember Whiteside's show for the work session and the regular meeting that week. So I will go ahead and say Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And what other holidays will I be missing? So be safe and give a lot. All right, moving on to new business. We got some contracts to look at. Contract number FY 2026-26, Mill Bay Beach Stairs and Picnic Table Replacement with S&S Enterprise doing business as Kodiak Lawn Care. Bo.
Move to authorize the borough manager to execute contract number FY 2026-26 for the Mill Bay Beach Stairs and picnic table replacement with S&S Enterprise, DBA Kodiak Lawn Care.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Staff report, Amy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The existing stair structure at Mill Bay Beach is constructed of wood. Unfortunately, over the years, sections of the stairs have repeatedly been removed or damaged by community members using the wood as firewood. This ongoing issue has required the borough to spend additional funds replacing treads and handrails multiple times. To address this reoccurring problem, staff recommended replacing the current wooden structure with a durable metal stair system. A metal structure would significantly reduce maintenance costs and prevent further damage or loss of materials. Similar vandalism has occurred with the picnic tables at the site. Several have been pulled from the ground and used for fires. Even one of the metal tables has been burned and is now charred. If the alternate bid is approved, staff recommend replacing 2 of the existing wooden tables that have sustained the most damage. Staff presented the designs to the Architectural Review Board, which were then approved on July 23rd, 2025. Due to the long lead time on materials for this project, staff issued the bid package this fall instead of waiting for spring. The project is anticipated to be completed on or before May 30th, 2026. Staff issued an invitation to bid for this contract September 25th, advertised for the designated 3 weeks per KIB code 3.30.040, and bids were due November 4th. There was a mandatory pre-bid meeting held on October 20th, and there was 1 contractor in attendance. At the bid opening, staff received 1 bid package. Following the review of the bid package, staff determined that S&S Enterprise, doing business as Kodiak Lawn Care, to have a complete bid package and the only bidder, and therefore the lowest cost bidder. Staff is proposing to award the base bid at $97,500 and 2 alternates of the picnic table for a total of $3,500, which would be a total contract cost of $101,000. At the work session on November 13th, Assembly members had questions about the materials. The materials for the stairs are hot-dipped galvanized steel. The bidder inquired about using aluminum and will be required to provide a submittal to be approved by the architects and engineers before moving forward with the purchase of materials. Bolts, connectors, and fasteners will be finished using a hot-dip zinc coating.
All right, thank you. All right, Assembly discussion. Jeremiah.
I just can't get behind a $100,000 price tag for a set of stairs. I looked at the designs; they look fantastic and amazing, but I just can't believe that we need the Taj Mahal of stairs over at Mill Bay Beach, and even at the cost of basically throwing $9,000 and change in design away. I think that there is a more fiscally responsible solution here. I'm curious how much we've spent just repairing them. I understand also that that is frustrating for employees and everyone to deal with, but $100,000 seems like too much to me. And I'm curious what everybody else has to say very, very much.
Jeff.
I echo much of Jeremiah's comments. I understand what's expensive in Kodiak. I've been to Spinards. However, I struggle thinking how long it would take us in repair costs for what we currently have to actually reach that $100,000 threshold. So this is not going to get my support.
Bo.
Thank you. So, to the mayor, madam manager, so this, if I remember right, it's coming out of Parks and Rec, correct? And do we have an estimate on our current balance?
$196,163.94.
So this would wipe out roughly a little more than half of our current balance?
That is why we put the money in there during the budget cycle.
Yeah.
Right? Mhm.
Right. Do we have any competing projects for the remainder of that? We're turning the corner here on the fiscal year.
Just park upgrades as needed. This is legacy from a previous assembly member about the importance of quality of life and improving parks. And so this is one of the projects that was picked that would impact a large number of people.
Thank you. So, if I may, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
continue. Mixed feelings on this one. When you hit 6 figures, the optics behind that are difficult for me to reconcile as well. But I drive past that beach probably 4 times a week. There are always people out there it's constant. It's one of the more beautiful beaches we have access to here in town, compared to Mission Beach, which is, there's parking for 3 there. So I think Mill Bay Beach is the option for folks, especially those who are limited with time, or stairs don't really fix the mobility issue. But point being, very popular beach. I think a lot of people use it often. It's part of quality of life. This was budgeted for, but absent options in front of us for a near-term solution that won't get burned in a bonfire, I'm still going to support it despite the high price tag, with the expectation that we get a very long lifespan out of these. To echo the term, the Taj Mahal of stairs, I would hope we would get a very long use out of these, many, many years, would be the hope.
Scott?
I'm going to support this because I think that it's been through the ARB. These are people that know what they're talking about. If they didn't think that this was a reasonable expenditure of the money, they would have told us that. And I've seen some of these kinds of things in past experience, like at the harbor. And if they don't do it with the right materials, then they do fall apart. I know it's expensive to do it that way, but I think we should do it. I go by that place 4 times a day, and the parking lot's always got people in it. And there's always kids running on the beach in the summer, and there's people out there trying to snag silver salmon all the time, and often doing it. And so it gets quite a bit of use. And I think we need a solid set of stairs for those people, especially old people like me who can't go down curvy routes very easily. Thank you.
Caroline?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, when I saw $100,000 for stairs, I was taken aback a little bit, and it is hard to know if that is a fair price when you don't have another bid to compare it to. However, I do believe that that beach is used quite frequently by community members, and I think metal stairs would last our lifetime. Thank you.
Anyone else? Steve?
I will agree $100,000 seems high, but being in construction business and being taxpayer dollars, this will be a Davis-Bacon job, which will require, unfortunately, a lot of paperwork and other things that drive the cost up. Very often, on your private house, you can build something for half of what the government can. And that's just a fact of life we have to live with, because those are the rules and regulations passed down to us by our government, and not locally. So the cost of anything built with taxpayers' dollars will always seem a bit high. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, roll call vote on the motion.
Mr. Gardner,
Nope.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smiley,
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside,
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
No.
Mr. Ames.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes with four yes, 2 noes.
All right, thanks. Moving on, next, Resolution FY 2026-10, appointing the Borough Attorney. Bo?
Move to approve resolution number FY 2026-10.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Staff report, Amy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In front of you, you will find several things. One is the professional service agreement between the Kodiak Island Borough and Landy Bennett and Bloomstein LLP. You will also find Exhibit A, which is Borough Attorney and Duties. You will also find the price proposal, which you would have seen during the interview process. None of that has changed. And then you will see a separate letter from the attorney that was here, Leslie Need, It's an engagement letter, an amendment to the professional services agreement. And the reason is that is there is because that outlines what they are not going to be doing for us. So Exhibit A is, here's all the things we're going to do, and Exhibit C, this letter, is they are not going to be representing us in the Kodiak Area Native Association versus Kodiak Island Borough case that's currently pending in the Supreme Court. They are not going to be representing us in the Alutiiq Heritage Foundation case currently pending in the Superior Court, and they are not going to be representing us in the Corinne Ferrer versus Kodiak Island Borough case that isn't really anywhere yet, but it's coming. That's a slip and fall case. And then finally, you will see a letter from Scott Brown Erickson. He is leaving Keenan Curl. He will be operating under SBE law. He has agreed to continue to represent us on the Alutiiq Heritage Foundation cases and the Canna litigation case, and remand to, if the Supreme Court case gets remanded to the Superior Court, he would also be our attorney of record for that. So that is all the information around that agreement for getting the new law firm in place to start December 1st.
Great. All right, assembly discussion. Jeremiah.
I read over all this earlier. It all looks pretty standard. We had a good discussion about it last week. It's got my support.
Anyone else? Okay, a roll call vote on the motion.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smiley,
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside,
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ames,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Next up, our ordinance for introduction, ordinance number FY 2026-13, accepting and appropriating funds from the 2020 Alaska Pacific Cod Federal Fishery Disaster Relief Distribution. Bo.
Move to advance ordinance number FY 2026-13 to public hearing at the next regular meeting of the Assembly.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. You know what, Nova, I forgot to ask you, can we, how do we bring these, can we bring these together and just talk about both of them, both ordinances?
I think they're listed individually, so.
Okay.
The manager could probably, like, if she does a staff report, she can just mention that her staff report applies to both,
Okay.
or something like that.
Oh, just trying to be efficient, but.
Hello, my staff report applies to both. There are several similarities. When a federal fishery disaster is declared, direct federal financial assistance may be provided to fishing communities in the form of grants, direct payments, cooperative agreements, loans, or contracts to help offset the economic loss associated with the event that led to the declared disaster. In ordinance number fiscal year 2613, the 2020 Alaska Pacific cod disaster was caused by warmer than average ocean temperatures, which led to a decline in Pacific cod biomass and a reduced fishery. As a result of this event, KIB was affected by the loss of fishery tax revenue. I received notification from Pacific States Marine Fisheries Commission that the Kodiak Island Borough is eligible for a one-time payment of $156,158.40 for the 2020 Alaska Pacific Cod Federal Fishery Disaster. In the case of ordinance number fiscal year 2026-14, the 2021 Chignik salmon disaster refers to the collapse of the salmon fishery due to low sockeye abundance, leading to closures and economic hardships for fishermen and communities. As a result of the event, KIB was affected by the loss of fishery tax revenue. The borough manager, oh, that's me, received notification from the Pacific States Marine Fisheries Commission and is eligible for a one-time payment of $41,557.81. The previous assemblies have decided that when we get this type of fisheries disaster, we do put it in the Fisheries Economic Development Fund, and we adopt this type of money by ordinance, because anytime we have grant funds that come in that are unlimited to use or subject to only general limitations, our code says that we have to adopt it by ordinance, which will include an appropriate budget ordinance. So that's why you see the language that's in there. When we get these notifications, we are told that this is to offset the money that the borough would get. And so it's hard for us to go back and put money into 2020 and 2021 fiscal years. And so the Assembly has put it in the Fisheries Economic Development Fund so we can use it for something fisheries-based in the future as we need it.
Thank you. Assembly discussion. Jeremiah and then Bo.
Maybe one of you can just help educate me. I read up on this. The public comment from, I believe the man's name was Patty. For those of you who don't know, I have a severe hearing disability. Coupled with his accent, I'm not sure I understood everything, but if I got the gist of what he was trying to say, I think he felt like these funds should be distributed amongst fishermen that were impacted by the disaster. I don't know if there's a way we can do a little bit of both. I'm new to this, so a little education, and if somebody heard him better than I did, I could really appreciate that.
Bo.
Thank you. Happy to do it, and I might have some backup if I get this incorrect. So I'll start with the disaster funds. This doesn't displace, so harvesters and processors are also eligible for applying for fishery disaster funds. Once the fishery disaster is declared, funds are made available. Harvesters apply separate, processors apply separate, municipalities apply separate, agencies. Everything has its own pool. So we're not displacing, by accepting these funds, any money that would be accessible to a harvester or a processor. Now, taking the idea of folding fishery disaster funds into a specific fishery economic development fund is to prevent that from getting folded into the general fund, which can go out to any use within the borough. So we felt it was a great idea, the Kodiak Joint Fisheries Work Group, to set these funds aside for ideas on how we can support our local harvesters. So this is a couple examples, and for folks who are listening, AMC was mentioned. So AMC lost the vast majority of its funding this last fiscal year. They can't provide free safety training for the state of Alaska anymore. They used to have very healthy fund source through NIOSH. That was yanked. They're operating on fumes right now. So some of this money is helping shore up through our nonprofit grant to Alaska Sea Grant for marine safety training for our local harvesters. And then there's also an upcoming course, which is one of the examples of investing in our community for not just current harvesters and business owners, but potential future harvesters and business owners to gain education so they can enter the workforce. So that's what we have going now. And then for folks listening and folks on the Assembly, the balance is slowly increasing. Any ideas that folks can bring to us, whether it's through the Kodiak Fisheries Work Group or here directly at the Assembly, on how we can use these funds to support local harvesters, we're always open to ideas. We're not just limited to the first two things that came to mind. So hopefully that covered everything for folks that are new to this topic or this particular fund or fishery disaster funds. But again, we're always open to ideas on how we can leverage these to help our local harvesters.
Yeah, in the Joint Fisheries Work Group, we've also, talked about using that money for branding, or other kinds of business development. If somebody has a small business idea, what can we do? It's not enough for a loan program or anything like that at this point, but yeah, any ideas would be great. Thanks for that rundown, Bo. Any other questions?
Did you have a statement?
Thank you, Mr. Ames. So the letter from the Pacific States Marine Fisheries Commission specifically outlines which communities are eligible and why. And so this $709,000 is, as Bo mentioned, Mr. Whiteside mentioned, is specific to municipalities and boroughs. And then your letter will actually list out which communities are eligible. And it's not everybody with everything. So when there's crab fisheries disasters, it doesn't always connect all the way back to Kodiak. And if you look at how those are doled out, you'll see that Dutch Harbor gets a huge percentage of that. And when we do, it's just a little bit. And it's based off historical landings. So I think it's a very well thought out process. And the solution that we have so that that money just doesn't go towards electricity somewhere is really good in keeping it in line with the idea of supporting the fisheries. So
Okay, all right. Roll call vote on the motion.
Mr. Smiley,
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside,
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ames,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
All right, let's jump into the next one. Ordinance number FY 2026-14, accepting and appropriating funds from the 2021 Chignik Salmon Federal Fishery Disaster Relief Distribution. Bo.
Move to advance ordinance number FY 2026-14 to public hearing at the, excuse me, wait. No, we are there. To the public hearing at the next regular meeting of the Assembly.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Amy, anything to add?
No.
Okay, any further questions or comments? Jeremiah, yes.
Why do we need to move that to a public hearing and not adopt it like the COD one we just discussed?
They both got moved to a public hearing, so they're just ordinances for introduction. So the timeline will be, we talked about it last week's work session. This will be move it to a public hearing. So you'll hear about it again on the 16th, and then it'll be a public hearing on the 18th of December.
Copy, thank you.
Any others? Okay, roll call vote on the motion.
Mr. Whiteside,
Yes.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ames,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smiley.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, and other items, we have appointments to the Providence Kodiak Island Medical Center Community Advisory Council. Bo.
Move to voice non-objection of the following appointments to the Providence Kodiak Island Medical Center Community Advisory Board for terms to expire October 2029. Ms. Michelle Shravloff Nelson, Mr. Mike Twingy, Ms. Kate Paulson, Ms. Ellen Semyonoff, Ms. Juna Davidson, Mr. William Roberts.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote on the motion.
Mr. Woods,
Yes.
Mr. Ames,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smiley,
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
And finally, next one, declaring an at-large seat and a construction business representative seat vacant on the Solid Waste Advisory Board. Bo.
Move to accept with regret the resignation of Mr. Douglas Hogan effective October 30th, 2025, and the resignation of Ms. Andy Wall effective December 31st, 2025 on the Solid Waste Advisory Board, and direct the Borough Clerk to advertise the vacancies per Borough Code.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Jeremiah.
Just for listeners, Solid Waste Advisory Board could really use some volunteers. I was there last night, and again, we couldn't make any progress without a quorum, and it seems like it's going to be harder to do that in the future. So if it's something you might care about, please put your name in the hat.
Thank you, yes. All right, roll call vote on the motion.
Mr. Ames,
Yes.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes.
Ms. Roberts,
Yes.
Mr. Smiley,
Yes.
Mr. Whiteside,
Yes.
Mr. Woods.
Yes.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion passes unanimously.
All right, we've come to the second opportunity for citizens' comments. For those who wish to call in, the local number is 907-486-3231, and the toll-free number is 1-855-492-9202. Please turn off your radio or any listening device to prevent feedback. For those in the room who wish to speak under citizen comments, please come to the podium and sign in. Turn on the microphone, make sure the green light is on before speaking, and please speak directly into the mic. And state your name for the record and address all remarks to the assembly as a body and not to any member thereof. Any further comments from inside the chambers? And we'll give a little time in case anybody wants to call in. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on into Assembly members' comments, and we'll start here on my left with Mr. Gardner.
No comment. Oh, actually, yeah, the one thing I guess I did want to say was in regard to Mrs. Schwante's letter to the Assembly. I've also experienced not being able to get through on the phone lines, even when it says that I am number one. So that is an issue. I don't know what a solution is there, but I hear you, Ms. Schwantes. You're not the only one. That's happened to me, too.
Thank you. Mr. Smiley.
I want to second Mr. Gardner's call for people to sign up or to volunteer to be part of the solid waste committee. My wife was on it for a while, and they do really good work. It's important. We live on an island, and you don't want to be walking around in trash all the time. So they need to deal with these issues, and they do a really good job of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ames.
No comment.
All right. Mr. Whiteside.
Thank you. Just wanted to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with friends and family. Give, to quote the mayor. And if you do decide to have a drink or two, please have a designated driver. We don't want anyone to be unsafe. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just from the work session that we had last week, I want to say I'm grateful for the continued conversations we're having about the future of North Star and the possibility of Shunak filling part of that building. I think that's an incredible benefit to our community and local families. I'm looking forward to continuing those discussions. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. And Mr. Woods.
No comment from me.
All right. And I did, if I may, really quick, I just now saw this in my stack of papers. We did get a very nice card from the Kodiak Women's Resource and Crisis Center, thanking the Assembly for their for the nonprofit donation of $25,000. It was handed to me. Do I get to keep this, or do I just? Oh, all right, it's mine now. All borough offices and borough facilities will be closed to the public on Thursday, November 27th and Friday, November 28th in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday. The next Assembly work session is scheduled on Tuesday, December 16th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. The next Assembly regular meeting is scheduled on Thursday, December 18th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. in the Borough Assembly Chambers. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
It's moved and seconded. Voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned.